I am on the way to the pet shop because my cats, they ran out of food. So that's why I have this bag here. Alright, so while doing that, let's just talk about this one lovely IEM that you see that I am wearing now. This is Heartfield CU8, which was released very recently. In fact, I was there in Shenzhen late last month. You might have seen my video on it. When I visited the home of Heartfield, I actually met the owner and the engineer who built this IEM. So that's really interesting. And today I already have it with me here, using it for quite a while already. And let's just talk about the build and the construction. When I talked to the engineer himself, he was quite passionate, explaining to me that this CU8 is really special. Special because it is entirely constructed of hand machine or machine brass shell, which means that it is considered to be a bespoke handmade IEM. And because it is made of brass and it contains 4 drivers inside and some very interesting technology also, like micro dampers and also this crossover, the total weight of the IEM is kind of on the heavier side. It is I place it on my scale, it is almost like 12 gram, literally 12 gram each side. That is definitely a heavyweight, because the only other IEM is just like something like Heidi's MP145, heaviest IEM and the biggest one so far. But this CU8 is actually smaller, but because the construction is exotic, made of brass, and also the finishing is just like luxurious, it is definitely one of the most lovely looking IEM which I have seen so far this year. So it is heavy, almost 12 gram, but the key thing is that despite being big, despite being heavy, it is actually quite comfortable, because I think ergonomically the design, it does not have any kind of edginess to it. It is comfortable. I was able to wear it for the last 2 hours, no issue at all. And the best part, as I'm walking like this, the seal factor seems to be good, which is quite surprising for this type of metal shell IEM. I am back home now and have all the cat's food in my cabinet right now. And if you are regular to my channel, you might remember here, Geoff. It has been a while since he made an appearance. Look how big he is now. Geoff, say hello to everyone. Okay, let's talk about driving this CU8. You see, rated at just 17 ohm with crossovers, and also with sensitivity at around just 108 dB. It is true indeed that this CU8 will not require that much of power to drive. Very easy, I would say, in order to achieve proper listening level or headroom. I was able to get at around just 28 out of 100 when I attach it to my Hy-B R4 Evangelion, which is 4.4 mm balance, and it sounded the best actually when I attach it to Heartfield very own dongle, which is this R1 in my hand right now. It is not a surprise because the designer and the builder for this Heartfield R1 is also the same person who designed and built this Heartfield CU8. So you can imagine there's a symbiotic connection between these two here. This thing will only need, would you believe it, at around just 1 out of 10 in order to drive this thing properly, to give you 100% performance in terms of sound and quality, the kind of dynamic authority which is full, which is immersive, engaging, highly technical as it is musical. So it is super easy to drive. You can literally attach it to anything. Like I mentioned earlier, I was there just last month in June. I went to Spiker Audio in Shenzhen City, and I actually met the founder and the owner of Heartfield, which was responsible for almost all of Heartfield product, including this IEM here. And he was very passionate about it. I talked to him quite a bit, and you might have seen my video on it. The most important thing is that, he did mention that the inspiration for tuning on the sound aspect of the CU8 was based on Harman, as faithful as possible to Harman neutral target, but with some touches of Heartfield. And what are those special touches? So what he mentioned was that specifically he wants something which is rich sounding despite being implemented using all balanced amateur, because most of us will probably know that balanced amateur sounds tend to be kind of a bit, more technical rather than musical. It can sound like a Harman when it comes to the sound curve itself, but when it comes to timbre, when it comes to the experience, when it comes to the actual implementation of the sound, it can sound different. I was kind of a bit, let's say, skeptical at first, because if you're familiar with me, most of the time, I prefer not to use or listen to any kind of IEM or headphone which are Harman based, for a very good reason, which I already mentioned before. Perhaps I'm just going to quickly recap, because I do find that Harman tuning kind of a bit laid back when it comes to lower mids and also mid bass. So I gave it a try anyway, and I was pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised because this CU8 is nothing like any Harman tuned IEM which I have listened to before. So let's just get a bit of perspective here. Most of you would already be familiar with Harman inspired IEM which are very popular, like IO Volare. That one is like one of the best last year. And also High Senior Mega 5 EST. And also something like Moondrop Variation, which is the least like IEM in my Harman list. Okay, so I'm just giving you 3 examples. This CU8 here, easily I would say that compete with all those 3 top tier IEM, because it does offer that kind of Harman flavoring to it, which is kind of a bit more relaxed overall, with the pace, rhythm and timing, with the energy and everything. It does not sound aggressive at all, but the key differences is that I was so pleasantly surprised that the mid-range is rich and frontal. I was like, wow, are you sure this is Harman tune IEM? Because what I'm hearing is something which is like, more like the blue sound curve. Because when I listen to female vocal, the mid-range itself, it is kind of like, very chesty, deep and immersive. The best part is that it is so natural sounding, yet it does not appear to be colored. It does not appear to be like, artificially warm. It is just simply realistic, immersive and frontal. It is like, the singer is sitting just 2 steps away from me. That is not the kind of vocal which I would normally expect from Harman tune IEM. So if you love vocal mid-range, this is it. And if you love Harman tuning, the combination is just simply mind-blowing. And when the instrument itself, because it preserves transparency and accuracy while retaining that kind of rich musical approach, I can really enjoy this with music like, classical music, technical jazz, obviously, and of course, many type of other music genre, no problem at all. It is like I say, it preserves transparency, accuracy, while at the same time, it imparts the rich and dense body of sound. And when it comes to the upper frequency, it is definitely very smooth. Smooth, yet it does not sacrifice on the element of the extension itself. I can clearly hear, especially when attached to powerful sources like this Heartfield very own R1 or anything which is powerful or very resolving, then you're gonna hear the extension reaches out very deep. I mentioned earlier, it is quite comparable to something like O Volare or even High Senior Mega 5 EST. So the treble extension is good, the sparkle and the energy is evident, but the best part is that it is non-offensive at all. There's no hint of being metallic. There's no hint of that balanced amateur kind of timbre. When an IEM try to be technical and let's say highly resolving in the upper frequency, they tend to sound clinical. But this thing is definitely not clinical. It is musical. And when it comes to the lower frequency, again, the keyword here is that this is not like most other Harman type of IEM, because, you probably be familiar with me if you are my subscriber that I am a mid-bass person. And one of the reasons that I try to avoid Harman's tune sound IEM, because I found that most Harman IEM, especially something like Let's Show Cadenza 4, which is an excellent IEM by the way, it's sacrificed a lot on the mid-bass to a point that, it loses the element of punchiness, the presence and everything. But this one, surprisingly, is very strong with mid-bass. And of course, being Harman inspired, it will have deeply extended sub-bass. It has that punchiness, it has that detail, it has that speed because it is balanced amateur. For whatever reason, it is also capable of delivering dynamic driver kind of smoothness all the way from mid-bass to sub-bass. I don't have anything to complain about this. Literally, I don't have any cons about it. Perhaps the only thing which I would wish it could have done better is the airiness of the entire dynamic transient itself. You probably know that I am a magnetic planar person, and the reason that I love magnetic planar because it has that, you know, electrostatic like airiness. So that is probably the only thing which I find that this CU8 missing, which is not really a big deal because I can really enjoy the rest of the sound presentation of this CU8. And let's just talk a bit more on the technicalities. Like I say, it is quite comparable to something like I/O Volare, High Senior Mega 5 EST variation, or even something like, you know, Let's Show Cadenza 4, which is another very strong. So layering, separation, imaging is just simply top notch, okay? It is like highly detailed but never clinical. And when it comes to the soundstage, it is fairly wide and open sounding, circular and holographic too, which means that it is also suitable not just for music, all type of music, but also suitable for gaming, suitable for watching movie. And I just gonna simply say, this CU8 is definitely super versatile. Simply put, to conclude, this is well worth the price that you pay for it, which is under $300 and you get that kind of sound and performance. And let's just not forget the build quality. For as long as you don't mind wearing something which is relatively heavy, almost like 12 gram, that is without the cable and without the ear tip, then I would highly recommend this for anything under $300 Thank you so very much for watching the video until the end. Without skipping, I hope. Now click like and subscribe, and also follow me on Instagram under the name of AndyAV. And also, if you'd like to support me directly, you can join the membership below for behind the scene, especially for AAV Insider and above, which will allow you to see what I am doing behind the scene.